Hi there, I'm Emiliano from Leapwing Audio. We are here at the beautiful Electric Lady Studios in New York with my friend Ricky. Man,
thank you so much
for taking the time. Really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Basically, we are here to talk about the new DynOne V3. I think, if I reckon correctly, we started a year and a half ago talking to a studio in London, Strong Room.
Yep. Basically, I knew about you guys. I never had the chance to try the plugins, so I was like, let's give it a go. I like to describe the very first time I actually used this plugin. It was V2, I think, at the time, right? But then I remember like trying it on the master, because I think that's the first thing I tried. And I put it on the master, and instantly, with a default setting, it was like, clearly not doing what it was supposed to do because of how I had it set up. But the excitement was so amazing. And I think I loved it since that very first moment, because it just felt very, very exciting. And it made me not think about the technical side of it. It made me think about the vibe that I was getting out of it, you know? I like to look at it not as a conventional, like, technical tool, but as I like to look at it as something that I can use in a situation where I want to spice things up. Yeah. Just putting it on and just maybe even going through the presets sometimes. There's some really, really interesting presets over it. And very often I had the situation where I was like, you know, going through them and be like, this is great. This like changed the whole sound of it, and I just rolled with it. You know, it's a beautiful creative tool more than anything else, in my opinion.
One of the main things that with Leapwing we try to stand for, and that's one of the things we always have in our heads as a goal, is to be creative, the highest quality audio we can come up with, and especially fast and intuitive to use. Yeah. I don't know what's your experience, but you can get very tweaky and like a lot of different parameters, but I don't know if you mostly use it instant, like as an instant vibe kind of thing, or you get into tweaking. Myself, I just go with it. So I don't know, like, what's your...
Well, I think there's space for both of these behaviors in the music making process. I would love to think that I am a very precise tweaker, and I guess in many occasions I am. In the instance of how I use this plugin, totally not. There is a specific phase of mixing where I need to get where I want to get in my mind very quickly. And I guess I've changed throughout the years, maybe, but I used to be very careful, being like, I don't use presets because presets are for beginners. We don't use presets. Every time we have to start from zero and like set all the parameters. I used to think that way, and then suddenly the more I started, the more work I had, the more that doesn't work at all. You have to have your sweet spots. And I'm a big fan of like happy accidents and things like that. I remember for a long time when I get stuck in a mix and I'm bored and I hate myself and I hate everything that I'm doing, because that's what you do, come on. You hate your mix up until it's amazing. Just at some point, just say, okay, let's go the unconventional route. Let's actually put something that is supposed to be something else on this. I discovered some of the coolest things just by putting drums through piano presets, or vice versa. Yeah.
I'm very much like that. I really like to be reckless, and if the preset says like marimba, what about if I put like the vocals on it? Sometimes I like to think is like, what's the worst can happen?
Basically, I think that's just how nowadays you experiment.
Something that as Leapwing we've been trying, and we do our best, and we try our best, is to listen to users like you and giving us feedback on like, okay, for the next version I would like this, or that. For example, one of the main things that users ask us is like the UI to be just resizable, so you just drag and like make it as big or as small as you want. Because some people are I don't know your experience, but you were telling me like as well, sometimes you work in a lot of different studios with different monitor sizes, laptops.
Yeah, all the time.
And we felt like a lot of our users were like, man, you need to like be able to drag and just resize it to whatever size it is. And the other one that is, from the Sonic's point of view, is I think the most important one, is that basically you can change the crossover frequencies.
It's everything I wanted V2 to have. Well, that's great, because at that point then you can dive in and actually then fine tune what you're doing. Yeah, that's exciting. That's great. There's plugins that I use and I have, I look at them a lot while I do other things as well. So the idea of not being able to resize them, but be on a small screen and actually cover everything else is just, it's frustrating. So it's always an added value.
Very happy that, because at this point we are shooting the video, so V3 is not out yet, so this is like a time machine. But well, I really, I hope you like it, you have fun with it, you be creative,
I'm sure I will.
You have a blast, and well, thanks again for your time, man.
Absolutely. My
I
pleasure.
really appreciate it. We
Thanks
are here.
for making very creative and useful tools.
I appreciate it to hear that. And well, thanks again. We're here in New York. Thanks
Yep.
for your time. And
Beautiful.
thank you everyone for trying us out.